Welcome everybody to the next artificial installment of the Juggernaut Astronaut Show. Thanks for your eyeballs and attention. I got a lot to say again, and things are freaking amazing while being the craziest time period ever. It's a good time period to be alive, I think, and I'm really hoping all the wrongs rewrite themselves and raise humanity to new levels. The energy sector needs to be modernized and moved away from a subscription. Power. Bah humbug. I think a little magnetic Jenny or a wind turbine would be better for all except the energy oligarchs who rely on their paycheck. I mean, come on, seriously. We have much better options. And personally, I don't think subscriptions would work if we all drew energy from the ether. That's probably why it is. Like it is. You think you knew the truth? NASA finally drops the bombshell. Alien disclosure is fucking unreal. Those whistleblowers they laughed at, they were right all along. The evidence is here, the images are clear, and the agenda is exposed. I cannot prove anything, but if pressed, I will deny everything. I take exactly zero responsibility for anything that comes out of my mouth. So, you've now been warned.
Watch. It's for real. Thank God for us all.
They called everyone delusional, but look at the NASA disclosures now. To think we would invest so much effort into training pilots and radar controllers. Ship captains and crews go are all delusional. The evidence is undeniable, and the truth is finally coming to light with vindication of the whistleblowers at hand. But I ask all of you guys, why did it take so long? Those whistleblowers were lampooned and mocked as stupid, but the recent UFO images corroborate everything. The disclosure is fucking unreal, and the truth can no longer be suppressed. Tesla had plans of free energy, and that didn't sit well with the CEO who axed the program, also going further convincing his cohorts not to sponsor the inventor and somehow blackballed him from ever getting further funding. It was, for all intents and purposes, a smear campaign, and it worked. Tesla reportedly died penniless and destitute while all his work was pilfered by intelligence agencies rabid for his ideas. This was hidden, of course, but his work was not unnoticed. His belongings were listed as 80 trunks, but his museum only received 60 trunks. So what happened to the other 20 trunks? This are the reports from history that are well known and well established, and paperwork from that time shows the number of trunks received and the number delivered. Strange. Yes, I think it is too. I'll tell you what the holy high voltage happened. Intelligence agencies stole it and hid it all. There's also some explosive details involving the Trump family, as it was President Trump's relative who oversaw the processing of Tesla's trunks. However, Tesla was a highly intelligent man. Rumors exist that he gave the plans for his energy weapons to several countries with the blueprints broken into smaller parts. This was designed to force the governments to work together. What did the governments of the world do? Not cooperate, that's for sure. They took it underground, hid the ever-loving chuck steak out of it, pumped any captured aliens for information, dropped and exploded nuclear bomb after nuclear bomb for testing purposes no less, tried to shoot down UFOs, showcasing how unintelligent and dangerous we are, demonstrating the hubris and temperament of a small-minded child lashing out at something that is not understood, right? Sure, they understood the sheer exponentially outmatched and vastly superior capabilities displayed in our skies. They had to give them at least a clue that we are outmatched. Project High Jump alone, surely. Then the more we found out, the more we knew they have been around us for a long time. They are part of a galactic empire and watching us because we are dangerous, like a runaway train dangerous. Did they attack before any sort of communication? I can't prove it, but I know about reports going back to the early 50s and even the late 40s. WW2 was surely interesting to hey? But there have been deaths reported. Everything from burns to abductions. We had missiles knocked out of the skies by beams of light, nuclear arms tampered with on the ground, turned on and off like a game of guess what we can do. This isn't isolated instances, it's history now. I mean, think about it. Not only did they hide everything, but they attacked another species before attempting to communicate. Humans must appear like complete violent and aggressive creatures. But it's strange too, because like a parent watching their kid have a tantrum, the kid is powerless and severely outmatched, in my opinion. If the Sumerian tablets are accurately transcribed, then humans were created for their purposes, which leads us back to Andromedans. So, the Andromedans, possibly the reason we are here. If the stories from Scripture and Sumerian Scripture, which I now consider true history, then it may behoove us to take it as true. We may have several groups of species living on Earth. If it's true, and we consider it as truth, then surely there are high-tech creatures that have been living here a long time. I would think they could easily control their environment if they had an ample energy source. It appears to me they do. They must. The kind of energy levels required to produce the effects of what has been witnessed, let alone thinking about time travel or portals or alternate universes, densities of existence. I don't know. Sumerian tablets suggest there are multiple realms. And then we have the dimethyltryptamine experiences that suggest staggering revelations. The paranormal is, again, a topic that needs to be explored deeper. It's just legitimately a crazy experience being human. What do you think? Are universes being traversed? I heard the data centers, quantum computing, and particle colliders are created by us to open portals, doors to alternate realities. Maybe. Apparently we did. Black projects, right? Supposedly we are communicating with aliens from these locations. Angels, demons, ghosts. It could just be the densities merging or universes colliding. There is so much to this rabbit hole that we may never know everything there is to know. There is so much information out there and more coming down the pipeline. I firmly believe the reality we are experiencing is a coddled and limited existence. Our sanctioned education failed us and fed us a diatribe of sanitize for our own good white lies, right? Governments never do good for the people. They pay themselves first, then create black programs and keep the technology to themselves. They stumble and fail and make deals or sack and raise for their intellectual property. But the aliens, the hybrids, walking among us is not only probable but also likely. Based on if it's the truth, is it the truth? Are the Sumerian tablets accurate? Were we created and then lied to from then on? I know I'm jumping around a lot on topics, but this is such a deep rabbit hole. What's really blowing my mind is all the stuff under the temples and pyramids. What does that indicate? To me, it indicates more dismissal of the truth. What is really down in those areas? Labyrinths, like in scripture and accounts from Greeks, and a tic-tac-shaped metal object. Yeah, let's take it slow. We don't want to upset the antiquities, dude. Like, come on, bust it open and fess up what's there. Like they haven't done that already. I'm sure they have. I'm sure they know. I'm sure they hit it all. I'm sure there is something very interesting and important to know from investigating those depths. What most people don't know is it's not just Egypt. Every single ancient construct has miles of structures beneath the surface. What does that all mean? Makes me wonder about underground civilizations all of a sudden. Just like that, we are back to talking about Agartha. The whole Project High Jump story is key in that story. In short, Germans went to Antarctica. Why? Whale oil is the story. I think the Nazis were there because they found something important. Admiral Byrd went there for military reasons. They needed to find out what the Nazis found. Story goes that Byrd was forced back home, his entourage reduced by 3/4, the flotilla destroyed, and he was shut up like never before. What does that mean? I'll tell you what that means.
I'm sorry now.
You have to admit to yourself that things are not what has been written in our textbooks. That's what it means. The relationships between energy, vibration, electricity, and magnetism are truly intricately related. I think tapping into this vibratory field is possible. I'm probably wrong, but neither of us were there for the Philadelphia experiment either. Because if our leaders have hybrid and many other black projects, why wouldn't they have time travel experiments? So what's the next step? Do we choose Star Trek or Independence Day? Battle, and pretend we have anything more than self-destruction ahead? Or become part of the card-carrying Universal Healthcare Plan members from the Star Wars Senate? I don't know what's best because our leaders either sold out Earth or just decided to hide things like the religious fanatics of yesteryear, using violence and leading to the heretics burned at the stake at their hands to keep secret. So I ask you, what does the evidence show? On one side, we have our leaders who own the bookmaking, the publishing, the news outlets, and the media, who are creating the content of our curriculum in schools, shaking their heads saying you're crazy. You didn't see that. It's swamp gas. It's not a rumor. It doesn't exist. Woo-woo nonsense. But they are feeding us a narrative through the public and private schools in our orbit, from anything we read or see. I think the military-industrial complex has outgrown its ability to do the right thing. Higher morals need to be applied in all cases and a publicly accessible oversight to ensure this does not get away from the people again. Stupid islands in the elite games are just as bad as it ever was. Indistinguishable from our stories of debauchery within recorded history. It's a wild account. Astonishing, really. These last 100 years have been the bloodiest ever in written history. Now it's past that. We have social media and artificial intelligence, algorithms and data collection. Most of it is voluntary. Your Facebook account has all kinds of details. I think it's funny people complain about privacy but post all their most intimate thoughts online. Who they like, who they don't like, what they bought, what they ate, where they went, who's their spouse, mother, brother, daughter, sister, son. I myself am using it as my platform and podium. It's really all about data collection. An ID card or driver's license just won't be good enough anymore. Your phone collects more data than you can possibly imagine. Even if you don't use except as a phone, it still gives location and all kinds of information. Listening to what you're saying. This is what we can look forward to as our vehicles get invasive and will assess your mood. Disable the car if you're too agitated. Kill switches and auto drive to the cop shop available as an option. What I'm saying is the level of control will be much higher using the technology we are so accustomed to having. I know how important it has become. Data plans and data connections nowadays aren't an afterthought, like buttholes. Everybody's got one. And where would we be without the data available in that palm-sized computer? Return back to fax machines and calls, or relying on Uncle Felix. Got a phone and data? Answer any question you got. This phone's loaded with technology that used to be all separate devices. Camera, video camera, voice recorder, phone, email, web browsing, now becoming much more than that. Tracking your health, tracking your steps, tracking elevation and direction, location, performing most of the tasks in your palm only a computer could do previously, and more. Multi-track recording, sampler, MIDI, music, instrument preamps, and of course all kinds of photo and video editing. So the age is upon us where fake videos can appear very plausible. You have the power to create a video while you're camping, but more importantly, you can document what is around you, above you. And in this age, we can send that to the internet and let it stand or fall for whatever it's worth. I think that alone is the catalyst for disclosure. Things cannot be contained, not anymore. Now that every human pretty much has a camera on them at all times and this information is being sent out peer-to-peer and shared, the way they have kept the secret this far can no longer be trusted and tolerated. It's been getting out for decades. We have seen disclosure about events many times. Meanwhile, the powers that be say it does not exist. Look away! You know what's funny? These lunatics at the top have kept the secret by ignoring and ridiculing the overwhelming evidence. Our own free-thinking scientists were duped and improperly educated. It's absolutely detrimental to all humans keeping this information hidden. What's the reason behind this disclosure now? They haven't given away this info for the last 80 years, and all of a sudden, reminds me of the moon mission and the force behind it. Who funded it? Why would they? I guess if you follow the money, you get your answer. I think they found something. Don't forget the Roswell crash was real, which means most likely the alien meetings were also a thing, which means that if those stories are true, then we may have already met with aliens and made deals, right? Who is speaking on our behalf? Should we not have a say in who represents humankind? Or at least know who it is? Right now, that's an unknown, and that, my friends, is wrong. This all continues to this day, keeping it all secret. Only now, we are talking particle colliders and quantum computers. But more importantly, the scary fucking world of quantum mechanics. Ever heard about the chronovisor? Some device that can show any point in time as if standing there. Hard to swallow, I know, but no harder than the pill we've been handed recently. I call for a vote of confidence on whomever says national security. That's evasion. It's mind-blowing to think a small group of entitled men decided for the entire world and began scheming and executing maneuvers on how to get their hands on that hardware projects. But worse, unrestricted, with unlimited budgeting, unlimited resources, off the books, and away from the eyes of Congress. Projects on how can they turn it into a weapon. When you have paranoid warmongers who hide behind and under a secrecy blanket while remaining beyond the reproach of a governing committee. What can we expect when you have rulers in place like this? Skeezy. Can't say it any other way. Our direct leaders must have their own leaders they report to. A shadowy government? Is that it? Some kind of middleman to execute the plans while keeping the puppet masters well hidden? Are they underground? A billionaire can remain aloft 24/7 if they choose to do so. Anything is possible. Unlimited budgets, right? They can pretty much do anything by throwing enough money at it. That's my opinion. But I never had money, so that sucked. It still sucks, but it sucked before too. So what is it with these billionaires? Why are they so entitled? Why does our military say, no, we don't answer to the people? We have this nifty item called national security, which covers us every act, every event, every item, every project. And you don't have the right to know, but we will just do whatever we want. That's more tyrannical than Thanos, don't you think? It's the old, you're expendable mentality, so we don't need your opinion. Complete apathy is disturbing, but when you got robot dogs, anti-gravitics, and endless energy along with tunnels and secret bases the size of cities, why would you give a rat's portal about humanity? These cats live on a different technological level than the rest of us. And that's what I mean when I say our education makes us into coddled children.
Human? Hey? Human? Alien? Hybrid?
What in the Star Trek Hall of Fame does that mean? I'll tell you what I think it means. This is a calculated result, implemented over the course of a century or more. What I call the long game. I'm astonished at the news coming out. NASA suggesting there is a 200-mile-long object around the rings of Saturn. Something echoed way back in time is now being admitted to. China showing items from their moon missions that show structures, also suggested previously by whistleblowers, but this is largely ignored by the public. Meanwhile, whistleblower is discredited. I don't know why the public is not reacting. It seems to be quite important to a lot of people, and the government website is already in the billions for hits. So why then was academia reticent to accept this as reality? Proof was always there. Some people were in the know, but our world scientific community was laughing at the fools who would even suggest this craziness. Astrologists who pushed the agenda that we are alone and there was no way aliens could be coming here. It's too far, right? Where's the proof? No messages, no signals, no flesh and bone alien produced as proof. Scripture is not enough. Pyramids are not enough. What's under the pyramids is deemed bogus. History is interpretive, right? What about Antarctica? That place alone needs to be taken over by Congress and everything made public. So what gives? It's like they made up such bold lies that it was fishy enough to us to be exposed. What a bunch of paratrooping dummies! And what do I mean by interpretive? I mean the jerks who found stuff kept it hidden. They interpret the information for us. We're not smart enough, you see. Right from the beginning of time with the Anunnaki or whomever may have created humans. But a story exists recounting the life of Adobo, the first human with intelligence, who disappeared for some time and returned knowledgeable. The gods imparted their knowledge to him. What they didn't expect was Adobo teaching the rest of humanity. Which brings us back to here, where nowadays our education is limited and we exist incognizant of true reality. If you know about Walter Russell, his theories and story, then our world should be drastically different, and I firmly believe a wool has been pulled over our eyes. We can end this episode and rant here, my friends, but you get the idea. I am sick of how unintelligent the decisions made from the top are. Next week, we'll talk about Tartarians. Over and out.